this episode of the Corona Bloody Virus Extraordinary episodes of Light on Leeds, I speak to Martyn Hayes. I first found Martyn on Instagram and I absolutely loved his drawings of the city of Leeds. I really enjoyed talking to him and he's a very interesting guest indeed. So I really hope that you enjoy it. Have a listen. Welcome to another Corona Bloody Virus Extraordinary episode of Light on Leeds, where today my guest is Martyn Hayes. Hello, Martyn.
Hi Hazel.
So I've invited you along, Martyn, because I saw your amazing artwork on Instagram.
Thanks, mate.
And how long have you been on Instagram?
Oh, I think I've been on Instagram for about 4 years, I would say.
Yeah.
4 years, yeah.
And did you start doing, when did you get into art and how did you get into it?
Well, I've always really been into art all my life, really. It's kind of something I was always good at school. But I think it's probably the only thing I was good at school. Really. Yeah, I wasn't very an academic type of person. But I was always good at drawing. I mean, Mum and Dad always encouraged me, and I kind of, when I was at high school, they always say one teacher influences you, don't you, for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And I had a fantastic art teacher, and she got me to draw other things other than, I used to just draw kind of stuff my mum and dad liked, like, I don't know, birds in garden and stuff like that.
Aww.
And she got me to start thinking about drawing more conceptual art and things that I was thinking about rather than I could just see.
Right.
So she sort of opened my eyes a little bit, and then she got me to think about going to college.
Yeah.
Because I'd never thought about it. My mum and dad, are fantastic people, but they've never been to university or anything like that. And I don't think my child upbringing really didn't really sort of focus on basically ending up at university or anything. But
so she gave you the confidence really to even think about doing it.
She did, yeah. She put the thought in my mind and inspired me to think about it, I suppose. And I ended up at Leeds. What it was called? It's called Jacob Kramer at the time.
Right.
And I went for my first interview, and I got in, and but I failed my exams.
Oh no!
So I had to spend another year in sixth form at school, and eventually I got into university into Leeds College of Art, and as it is now, as on a graphic design and advertising course. And I think back in the day there was no computers or email, or I mean, it sounds bizarre saying that now.
It does, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. But back in the day, or how you expressed yourself, whether or not that was through art or design or whatever, you had to draw stuff,
yeah,
and visualize stuff and be able to conceptualize your thoughts with a pen and paper. And I sort of got into drawing then. We did art classes and we did life drawing classes, which were for I don't know how old was I then, 18 or something like that, 19. Going to a life drawing class when you'd all you'd drawn potted plants and your trainer, in an art, drawing a naked person was the experience I've ever gone through. But I think it makes you, it kind of grows you as a person, grows you as an artist, it grows you. See, I think one of the things I learned when I was at college was the fact that, and I think a lot of kids now at uni and stuff that do art degrees, well, design degrees, don't get to draw and experience life drawing, is the fact that although it helps you see things, it makes you look. I mean, we had an amazing art teacher, and it helps you kind of understand how to look at things.
Yeah.
And really see things. Because a lot of people, when they draw, they look at something and then they look at the paper more than they look at the object.
Yeah.
But the real skill in drawing really is the thing I learned anyway, is to look more than you draw.
Do you think that's something you sort of have to train yourself to do then?
Oh, definitely. I think it's something you kind of realise over the time, and if you get a good tutor and a good teacher, they'll teach you to do that and understand form and how things should sit on a piece of paper. So for a designer, which I am, to understand how things sit on a piece of paper, how to use a piece of paper, how to use the space, and the kind of design your drawing on the piece of paper really is part of being a designer, and understanding that kind of layout aspect of something is very important. And,
yeah.
And I think that's what I really got out of it, really, and was kind of understanding how to do layout by just drawing and looking at stuff. And as you went through college, you got better and better at it, and I got really interested in life drawing and drawing in general. And I used to go out in Leeds. Drawing buildings and stuff. I've got some really old drawings of the Corn Exchange and Leeds City Market and stuff. When we used to go up onto the gantry that runs around the old part of the market, we used to go up there and draw on the stall. You can't go up there now, actually. You've got to get special permission to go up there.
Yeah, I think they do tours every now and then, but yeah, you're not allowed to sort of go up there whenever you like.
No, you're not. No, but we used to be able to go up there then, and used to draw. I used to draw the kind of market stuff. So I've always had this kind of fascination with buildings and architecture and just drawing, kind of urban landscapes and stuff, I suppose.
And that's the kind of stuff that you've got on Instagram, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think I don't want to bore you with my life story, but over the years, computers came into my job, and you just start drawing less and less, really.
And is your job to do with design, Martyn?
It is, yeah. I'm a design director at a firm in Leeds called Elmwood Design, which I've been there for 30 years, believe it or not.
Wow.
I know it sounds like a long time, but to be one place, but it's kind of been a place that's, I feel very privileged to have been a part of, really, because it's enabled. Back in the day when I got a job, Leeds was like a little backwater of design. Nobody really, the places that you got jobs at were advertising agencies in Leeds.
Yeah.
It had like a kind of a bit of an advertising thing in Leeds at the time, and I didn't really do advertising. I wanted to do design, and to really kind of work for a top-notch agency, you'd have to move to London.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. So
did you sort of feel like you sort of developed with the business as it went along then?
Yeah, I do, because we were part of a bigger firm when I joined Elmwood. We were like a little annex of an advertising agency called Charles Walls Advertising, and the guy who owned the company, Jonathan Stannis, he bought out the design part of it right in the middle of a recession.
Oh gosh!
And we moved up to Guiseley. We were in Guiseley in a building there for 20 years, and I think it's weird, really, because the company's changed so much over the years. It's grown and it's gone global, and I had an opportunity to work in different countries and on amazing, meet amazing people that went through the company, and kind of amazing characters and talent and designers and photographers and illustrators and people you meet just because you're in the same industry, but are incredibly talented and driven people. I think you kind of meet these people, and it in a way influences you in a small way. And because Elmwood's always grown and done different things, it's always changed, and I suppose kept me really interested in it, really. And
because there's such a wide range of projects that you get involved in.
Yeah, I started off quite a lot on retail. I mean, my kind of big thing was working on packaging and retail and stuff. So we had Asda at the time, and worked with Asda, and that gave us lots of opportunities to work with different people. And they also, through Asda, we started working with Walmart in America.
Oh, wow.
And and I got an opportunity to go over there and work in their head office over there.
And how was that different to working with Asda, do you think?
I think, supermarkets are very similar all over the world,
Yeah.
They're very quick turnaround and quite aggressive in the way that they behave. But working with them guys over there was a bizarre. Their whole organisation is in a place called Bentonville.
Okay.
And it's in like the sort of south of America. It's kind of Arkansas it's in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really strange place, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're absolutely lovely people. I mean, like really lovely, friendly, welcoming people, but they never really go anywhere, so it's a very insular place. It's
right.
Very, it's based all around Walmart, and Walmart is massive there. It's huge. It basically employs most of the people in the town.
Right.
And their offices are huge and sprawling, and once you go in, it's like a maze of corridors and rooms and crazy place.
Did you seem like quite an exotic creature to the people of Arkansas?
I did. I did. Yeah. We lived in a house in a sort of a housing estate while we were there and stuff, and the kind of people you meet as soon as you go into a bar and stuff, they want to know your life story because you speak differently,
Oh, so that must have been quite nice, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, we went all over the place and stuff, and met lots of different sorts of people, and realised that America, although it seems very similar to us, is very, very different.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's very religious there as well, so people are incredibly religious, and there's no drinking at all.
Oh, really? It's a dry state?
Yeah, it's a dry state. You can't drink. You can only drink in a hotel bar, I think.
Right.
But there's no bars or anything like that. So we had to go out of town to a place called Fayetteville to have a drink in a bar.
That's great.
It's actually where I think it's where somebody famous coming from that kind of thing. It'll come to them. But you go out, and people would just get this is really bad. They'd get really hammered in these bars, and the streets would be full of cars.
Yeah.
And you'd go in the bars and stuff like that, and all these people would be drinking and all sorts. And then it gets to sort of 11 o'clock, and then everybody just get in the cars and drive back to Bentonville.
Oh my gosh!
It was really weird, and we got this guy. We couldn't get a lift back. I was with a colleague and stuff, and we got a lift back with this guy, and he was like, he'd had a few to drink, and he played heavy metal music all the way back with his windows down. It was really funny.
So not even trying to keep quiet and under the radar then.
No, absolute opposite of it. So I don't know where the police were, but they certainly weren't around that time. Yeah, so he's had me, so I was in America for a while. That led me to being in New York for a bit. I was in New York for a while.
Wow, what were you doing in New York?
Well, we had because of the Walmart connection. We the company opened an office in New York. And I went over there and worked in the office for a while.
What was that like living in New York?
Oh, it's a great town. I mean, I was only there I wasn't there for like a massive length of time. But it's a great place. I love New York. I've been there many, many times, and it's a place I never get fed up of. It's just full of really interesting and unusual people, and I think being a European person, going to New York it's like you feel more at home because it feels more cosmopolitan. I think. Than a lot of American towns and places, because it's more open and people are more sort of what's the word, susceptible to other people. They kind of just accept you as you are. And I think that's the great thing about New York. I think it's such a creative place, and people are just kind of just left to do what they want, really. Very sort of liberal and interesting place. And it's just an iconic place as well. Everywhere you go, it's this fantastic. I've seen that in a movie, and I've seen that in a magazine. It's just so inspiring. It's such an inspiring place. Great, and the art galleries are amazing there. I mean,
it's definitely somewhere I'd like to get to eventually.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, I love architecture, as you can see. I like drawing architecture, but the Guggenheim Museum was like one of those places that when I first saw it, when I was in my 20s, it was just like I just couldn't believe my eyes. It was just kind of such a magical place, and even when you go inside, it just kind of keeps on like jaw-droppingly beautiful, even though it's a building. It's kind of I don't know, and it's kind of nestled in these kind of huge skyscrapers, and it just looks like a jewel sat in this city. It's a fantastic building. So I kind of get inspired by buildings, and I like the stories that buildings have, and and I like to find out a little bit about them and get inspired by them and stuff. And I've gone to various places around the world looking at buildings, which my wife doesn't particularly like that much. But but yeah, it's great. And then from there I came back, and then I got an opportunity to work in Singapore for a while. And
how was that?
That was very different. So it's kind of like going from one extreme to another. You can you live in Leeds, and then you end up in another city halfway across the world, and it's completely different. And I think one of the things that hit me about that place was the weather. The weather was just like something I'd never experienced before. I mean, I've been to obviously you go on holiday, don't you, to various places, and I've never sort of been in one place a long time in that kind of heat. And
was that quite difficult to cope with?
It was at first, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like when you're walking around outside, you get that kind of oppressive heat. It's so, the humidity is just incredible, and it takes you a while. And then you go into the offices, and they're just freezing cold, with the aircon. So you get this kind of weird contrast, and you're quite ill when I was ill when I first got there, because you just get this kind of temperature change, like rapid temperature change all the time. So it makes it gave me really bad colds and stuff when I got there. But I think after a while, when you're there a while, you get used to it. And
I spent some time in Taiwan, and like I cannot handle heat at all. I'm really, really fair. I literally have to glance at the sun and I get burnt. And like looking back, I just don't know how I did it, but I did it. But yeah, you're right. It's just such a strange, when you come from a country like this, and like you said, the whole thing of like, I'd walk into a shop and it'd be all beautifully air conditioned, and I would forget, and then I'd walk out and the heat would just hit me in the face again. I'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think I totally know what you mean. And I think that when I came home, it made me really appreciate fresh air.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, I like to go. I mean, I've injured my leg at the moment, but I like to go running and stuff, and I do a bit of running to keep fit. And I still remember how I felt when I used to step out the door in Singapore to do a bit of a run, and how you can't get your breath for the first bit, and now when I step out the door here, it's just this amazing, fresh, beautiful, fresh air.
Finally appreciate English weather.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic, and I think that was. But having said that, I loved it in Singapore. I thought it was brilliant. I went with my wife actually. We both went because we were there for and but Linda, my wife, hated it.
Oh no!
She saw it as being a holiday at first, and then it dawned on her that she was there for quite a long time, and she's a very social person, Linda. And although she works in the office for a little bit, she found it really, really hard, and because she had to go home in the afternoon, and she was on her own for quite a long time, long periods of time, because I had to work late and stuff. And she found it really hard, and we had a couple of wobbles where she said she wanted to go home, but we stuck it out, and then from there we went to Australia. So we spent a bit of time we spent a bit of time in Melbourne, and we loved that. And she absolutely loved that. Melbourne's a fantastic place, and so that was, and then we came home. But it was a great experience. But I started to really love it, and I liked the office, and we started to build the office up and stuff. It was great, and but we'd had enough, and we came home. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, you weren't tempted to stay there then?
I think I would have stayed a bit longer, but I think Linda had enough, so we had to come home. But I had some great experiences. I mean, I went to the Philippines, to a client in the Philippines once, which was really funny. It's kind of just a Yorkshire lad in the Philippines with these kind of. It was. We went to this. This is something you want me to talk about. I can rattle on all day about this sort of stuff.
No, it's always great to hear the stories.
We'd done this job for a pig feed company. These are the kind of This is one thing. This is one thing I love about my job. It's just that you just end up doing like so many different types of projects, and meeting so many different types of people.
And I imagine that you learn a lot, yeah.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you learn so much about so many things, so many different things. I mean, like recently I've been doing Stilton cheese for Long Clawson, which you're just learning all about Stilton and stuff, and what amazing processes they go through, and that it's the only place in the UK that they make Stilton cheese, and how passionate the people are about their products, and
that must be nice to hear.
And then I went a few months back. We did a job for Macallan, Macallan whiskey.
I don't think I do.
It's a whiskey, quite a famous whiskey brand.
Oh, okay.
We did a job for them, and we went up to their distillery in Speyside and met all the people up there. And as you know, like whiskey, a lot of whiskey brands, they've got lots and lots of history, and they've built this purpose-built distillery, which is absolutely an amazing piece of art. If you get a chance, if anybody's listening to this bit, it's well worth just checking it out on Google. It's
Macallan's.
Macallan whiskey distillery in Speyside. It's a fantastic building. It's subterranean, so it's partially built underground and blends into the landscape, and it's just got this incredible, almost like cathedral-like feel when you go into it. It's amazing. And
did you use that as part of your design?
Yeah, we did. Well, part of yeah, part of the job really to do a design project is a bit like doing a drawing really. You need the inspiration from somewhere. You need to pull in that inspiration and almost excite, like excitement of, and to get your blood going on something and get your ideas going and stuff.
Yeah.
So, going somewhere where they make something is really part of that, and you get really inspired by the place and the people and how you speak, what they tell you and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were doing like a gift. It was like their airport shop. You buy booze in the airport shop and stuff.
Yeah.
And well, we were creating a piece of packaging, like a gifting piece of packaging for their bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
But they wanted to create something that would really stand out, be really different, really kind of echo their brand's personality and values. So we had to go and get some inspiration for that. I was working with this structural designer, and we went to the distillery. And part of their sort of graphics that they have is a triangle, and it's kind of like sort of symbol they use in a lot of their. It's on the bottle. It's everywhere, and they sort of built it into the building itself. So they create, in the ceiling of the building on the roof, they've made all these like triangular patterns and stuff. And it was everywhere in the building, and the way that they constructed the building was really interesting as well. And like talking to the people and stuff. So we came away from there and took those influences of this kind of structure of the building and the triangles and all that kind of stuff, and we created the packaging around it. And the structural guy, Damien, he did some amazing structural designs, and we did the graphics around it. But we worked together on it, and just that kind of working with other people, visiting places, getting to know about things, really soaking up that all those stories.
Yeah.
You get to something that's really special. You're able to design something that you feel that nobody else has done before, and that's what I love about my job really. And I think that the stories that you kind of get to know over the years and people you meet and things are really kind of define you in your job really, I think. And
add to all the rich tapestry.
Yeah, which is brilliant. And I feel very lucky and privileged that I've had such a great opportunity to be able to kind of do a job that actually don't feel like a job.
Yeah, and there you get to use all your creativity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, working around the world and meeting different people and stuff like that.
Sounds like a pretty great job.
Yeah, like I say, I feel pretty lucky, and that's why I've stayed with my company for so long. It's just been such a great place to work. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, and we're still working now. Although I've just been furloughed for a few weeks. So.
Oh right.
Yeah, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? A lot of people have.
And how are you? How are you and your family coping with the whole lockdown situation?
Well, to be fair, Hazel, I've actually quite enjoyed it. To be fair, I think I mean, we go to pubs and stuff, and I like going to pubs and having a Sunday lunch and stuff like that. There's nothing better than that. Really.
Yeah.
So I miss that. But I like to walk. I like to be out, and I think that's one of the things that I would say. That's the one thing that's really been hard for me is not being able to go out quite as much as when we first started the lockdown. Just going out for a walk.
Yeah.
And then having to come back and stuff, and not being able to drive, because I like the North York Moors and kind of that side of Yorkshire. We love going over there, and not being able to do that was quite tough. But,
yeah, I can imagine.
I think what we have done. I mean, I'll tell you a bit about where I live, but walking around here, where I live in Temple News, and it's been brilliant actually, because we've discovered a lot more about where we live
that you hadn't seen previously. You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Just kind of like wandering around and going on a few different trails that we never went on before and stuff. You end up finding things. You think, I never knew this was here. So
yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Because I live near Middleton Woods, and me and my niece went for a walk, and I've been there so many times, and I found a whole different part of it that I'd never seen before. But because I'm trying to go for my daily walk and try to get out and about, so I walked a little bit further than perhaps I had done previously. But yeah, the same. I'm finding parts of my area that I didn't know were there, so that is quite good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Leeds is a great place. I would say that. I always come back here though, because it's, I think Leeds is one of the best cities in the UK. I really do. I think it's got such a lot to offer, and I just, I can't get enough of it really. But
what would you say is the best thing about Leeds?
Well, I think there's loads of stuff. I think we've been here a long time. I've lived here all my life, and as you know, I've been around a bit as well. I always think that Leeds is one of those sort of places that I've always felt really lucky living in Leeds, because it's always been growing. It's always been growing. It's never really sort of stagnated or stopped. It's always sort of found a way to sort of keep changing and growing and getting more interesting. And I think that's one thing I really love about the place, is that it's small as well. It's not like Manchester where
it's not spread out.
Yeah, I do like Manchester. I go a bit, but like you said, it's sort of spread out, and it takes a while to kind of get to grips with it and stuff. With Leeds, it's so compact, and it's like a really, really concentrated, I don't know, a really concentrated sauce or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You go into these little areas, and they're all packed together, and they're all really, really cool bars or really lovely little restaurants, and you don't have to walk far to get to another really cool place. And
that's true. And when you're doing your artwork of Leeds, is there like a particular building that you you represent more than any other place? It's like, do you have a few that you're kind of obsessed with that you seem to do again and again?
Yeah, well, I think Leeds Market for me is my favourite building in Leeds.
Mine too, yeah.
I think I've got a lot of history with Leeds Market as well, because my dad used to be a butcher in Leeds Market.
Really?
And then he worked on the game row, which I think older listeners might remember that. But where the fish row is now,
yeah,
all the fishmongers now and stuff. And,
yeah.
It just used to be a row of shops that sold game, rabbits and pheasants and all that kind of stuff, and turkeys, and it was all that kind of stuff down there. My dad ran a shop down there.
Oh, lovely!
And I used to go as a kid and spend like hours and hours in Leeds Market when I was a kid, and it's always had this like real kind of affection and close to my heart, really. So, and I think I've drawn it quite a few times, but one of my favourite drawings is of the Leeds Market, and that the Victorian part at the top.
Yeah, I love that part.
it's just amazing. And like I was saying before, I drew it when I was at college as well. But I also started doing little drawings of shops and stuff inside, Leeds Market, and I
little
really
individual stalls.
Yeah, like Manjit's Kitchen. I've done a drawing of that.
I love that one.
And then there's what's his name's Fruit and Veg as well.
Is it Neil's?
Neil's Fruit and Veg, yeah. I love them stalls. I think they're fantastic, and lady who runs Manjit's Kitchen, she's brilliant, and I just love I've got a few drawings that I do of a couple of other stalls in there, but I do like a coloured pencil style, which is what most people will know me for.
Yeah.
But I also do like a black and white kind of pen drawing style.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the pen drawing stuff I do urban sketches, so I'll actually go out and draw stuff while sat in the street with my pens, because I can do that quite quickly.
And do you often, when you finish a painting of like say a stall, do you show them to the stall holders?
I do, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily. What I'll do is I'll put them on Insta and tag them in.
Right.
And then if they ask if they want to see it, I'll go down. I'll give them a picture, and stuff. But I've done quite a few drawings of characters and people in Leeds City Market, and love doing it, and I always get a lot of pleasure out of drawing. I did a drawing of I don't know whether that's on my Insta site, but I did. I can't remember what it's called, but those little stalls right in the entrance part of the market where you come in and they sell newspapers and all sorts of manner of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's one which is run by an oldish lady, and I think it's in the first bit.
Is it opposite like a cardigan store?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she sounds like, I did a drawing of her stood in the middle of a massive array of different types of stuff, which I really like. Enjoy doing. It's quite interesting. So I quite like detail in my drawings. Although my drawings are quite rough, there's quite a lot of detail in them.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, but.
Nice to capture all the characters of the market. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah. So I've done that, and then I started drawing a lot of buildings and bars and stuff around Leeds City Market because I like that area. So I've done a lot of those. I did the Weapon Take, and
that's a great place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. They're really lovely, those people that run that bar as well. Really nice people. It's just such a shame what's happened to everybody in Leeds.
It really is. I mean, one of the worrying things is, there's many worrying things about it all, but, I know everyone's like really keen for bars and restaurants to open, and it just makes you wonder how many places are going to be able to open when this is all over. Because I think Leeds is doing so well for so many independent little bars and restaurants and things like that. So, it's a real worry.
Yeah, because like I was saying before, that's why Leeds is so great, because of all these little microcosms of places that are independent and just open up and stuff, and really nice and really full of really nice, characterful people that are passionate about what they do. And,
that's right.
And it's just such a shame. It's like, I don't know. That's one of the I do. Yeah, to worry about.
It is a bit of a worry. Well, while we're on a down point, we'll stay on a down point and ask you the second question that I always ask guests, which is, what would you say something that is not so great about the city of Leeds?
That's a tough question, that, Hazel.
It is.
What can I say? What can I say is negative about a city I love? I think this is. I suppose there's not much I can do about this, but I think the one thing that frustrates me about Leeds is their architecture as well.
What, as in, is there certain buildings that you don't like, or?
Yeah, that that they've slammed up. They seem to be slamming up everywhere. And,
Yeah.
I mean, down where I work, down on Water Lane, down in Leeds, with all the Brown Foundry and those Ace buildings that are
there's some
there.
lovely ones down there.
There's some beautiful buildings down there, and there's a development that's just starting around the back of where I work called the Ironworks, and we actually did the identity for it, but we've got to see the plans and what they're doing, and they've done such a great job of pulling influences from the history of around that area, the building, and they've designed the building so it echoes the shapes of the factory tops, that used to be there, so
that's
the
nice.
chamfer of the building. They've created something that'll fit comfortably into that environment, and I think that's amazing. So there's good things about Leeds where there's great buildings, but over the road from there, they're slamming up this massive, 12-story glass box apartment type building.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Towers above the road. And it's just such a shame. I just think it's like, I know they've got to build, buildings to accommodate people, but I think, the way they build them and how they fit them into the kind of urban landscape, it just feels like they don't really care. They just slam up loads of buildings that don't seem to fit in or swamp other buildings and make everything
that's a shame.
I think one of the prime examples of that, which is one of the best pubs in Leeds, is the Grove Inn.
Oh yeah.
And, I did a drawing of that a year or so ago, and it just struck me as being this little tiny building. Have you ever seen that film Up?
Yes, I have.
There's that little building, and
Yeah.
he lives in that little house, doesn't he? And amongst all those skyscrapers. It's a bit like that. It's like this kind of little tiny old bit of Leeds that's fantastic. Sort of at the base of this huge monolithic monstrosity that's Bridgewater Place. Yeah,
and that had all the trouble that it had from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's actually killed people. And then they've had to build another monstrosity to stop the wind from whistling.
And I can't stand. I think they're awful. They're just awful, aren't they?
So it's just that's the thing that frustrates me about Leeds, is the fact that they don't seem to. I don't know. They seem to care about planning, but then they don't seem to care about planning. I mean, years ago, they were slamming up them buildings that have all those overhanging eaves.
Yeah.
The court, the Crown Court building in Leeds.
Yeah.
It looks like something out of Jiggly or something.
I don't know what anyone was ever thinking.
So it's kind of, then you've got the amazing town hall and the library. And,
yeah.
The Henry Moore Centre's a lovely building. How they've, kind of morphed that modern against the old. It's great. They did a brilliant job of that. And
yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes Leeds can get it really right, the mix between old and new. I mean, architecture is something that I particularly love. Sometimes they can get it so right, and then just get it so spectacularly wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that frustrates me a bit about Leeds, is the fact that they don't build something iconic and beautiful. And,
yeah.
I went to Bilbao a year or so back to see the Guggenheim building in Bilbao, and Bilbao was a city, an industrial city that nobody ever went to. It was on the fringes of depression, and they reinvented that city, and they built that building. And from that building, all this fantastic culture, Spanish culture, just erupted into the city. And you go to the city now, and it's fantastic, vibrant, lively, positive, amazing place. And I'm not saying it's all to do with that one building, but I think it's a lot. I think it's got a lot to do with it because
Yeah.
we went there because of it, and it is a fantastic, iconic building built by an amazing architect, and you know, and I think that, and it represents, and it has some stories behind it. You know, when Geary did the drawings for that building, it was about making it feel like a sailboat, making it feel like it fitted in with that Dockland cult, you know, the place where it was sat on the docks and stuff, and echoing the bridge that goes across it, and the old bridge and the ironwork and the metal and the corrosion and all that kind of stuff. And he built all those stories into it and created an amazing building. I mean, it's similar to the V&A building in Dundee. You know, the way that they've built an amazing piece of architecture just by following the stories of the town and the city.
Yeah.
You know, and that, for me, that's what Leeds lacks. You know, it lacks that iconic building that you go, oh my God, you know.
That's Leeds.
It's got lots of iconic buildings, but to build a new building, something that celebrates Leeds' amazing, vibrant, creative culture, would be fantastic. But
you'll have to get designing, Martyn.
If I was an architect, I would.
And I always ask people, even if somebody was a long-term resident of Leeds, would you be able to tell them about something that you would consider to be a hidden gem that they may never have heard of?
Well, I've thought about this actually, because you told me about this before, didn't you? And I think there's loads of places. There's you know, kind of Northern Monk and all those little places that are hidden away when you walk out of town. North Star, is it North Star Coffee Brewery and those little places are all fantastic little places that I've discovered and they're great. But I think one of the places that I really love, I know we can't go there yet because it's closed, but because of the crisis and everything. But a place in Meanwood called Zuko. And I don't know if you've heard of it.
I haven't actually.
But it's a restaurant in Meanwood. It's an Italian restaurant in Meanwood, and it actually doesn't look like much from the outside, actually. But I've been a few times, and it's just a fantastic place. It really is. I mean, the food's amazing. It's kind of like Italian tapas.
Oh, that sounds great.
Like small plates. But the quality of it's very simple cooking. Very tasty and really beautiful ingredients. Fantastic. Authentic flavours, and the wine's great, but the atmosphere is fantastic. I think it's just a great little place. I think for me at the moment it's one of the best places in Leeds.
I will definitely check that out when we're free to do so again.
Absolutely. But if you want to have a walk, I don't know a lot of people. Everybody goes to Roundy Park, but I think because I lived near Temple Newsam, I always think that Temple Newsam for me is the jewel in Leeds' crown.
Yeah, it is.
It's a centrepiece for me, and there's just so many places. If you spend a bit more time walking around in Temple Newsam, that actually are so beautiful. The woodland is so beautiful. I was out this morning with the dog walking through it. It's just incredible. I've got a few. I'm going to be on furlough. I'm going to do a few. Drawings and paintings. I think I've got up my sleeve that I've been inspired by walking through Temple Newsam. But
that's great to hear.
I think the woods as you walk out of Temple Newsam up towards. I mean, if you stand at the house and look at the summer house, and the summer house is on the hill. If you walk that way, there's some beautiful woodland up there, and at this time of year, all the bluebells are out.
Yeah.
They're just sort of carpeting the whole of the wood. And there's hardly nobody really goes up there because it's a little bit too far to walk from the house. And you don't really realise it's there.
Yeah.
But there's so many beautiful little walks in those woods and things. It's just fantastic.
What will you be doing with the rest? Yeah, because I could tell. What will you be doing with the rest of your day today?
Today?
Oh yeah. Have you got any plans?
Well, I think we're going to go for a walk soon from here. But I think we're going to go over towards Skulls and over that way.
Nice.
Because I think another good thing about Leeds actually is the fact that it doesn't take long to get into the countryside.
It doesn't. You're right. Yeah.
You don't have to be. You can just get a bus to. Any your short bus drive, and you're basically in the middle of the countryside. Or you can, if you live on the outskirts like I do, you just have to walk half a mile, and you're walking across, cornfields and farm tracks and stuff. I think that's another great thing about Leeds is the fact that it is nestled in. You don't have to go far to get into the countryside.
You're definitely right. Yeah,
that's what we'll be doing this afternoon.
Well, thank you so much for coming along and talking to me. I'm
enjoyed it.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing your new work that comes out of the creativity that comes out of being furloughed.
Thanks. Yeah. I think I've got to sort my website out first. It was a bit of a quick one. I did, so there's a bit more work to do on it. So I promised myself I'll sort it out. So
well, you've got plenty of time to do that now.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be nice over the next week or couple of weeks at least. So I'm going to be out drawing and sketching. So my Instagram's going to be. I'm going to be hitting my Instagram with some sketches, I think, in my sketchbook over the next couple of weeks.
I'm really looking forward to seeing them all.
Look out for them, Hazel.
I will do. Thanks very much, Martyn. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Hazel. Thanks a lot. Bye.
I loved hearing about Martyn's travels across the world and about what he thinks about Leeds and Leeds architecture. I really enjoyed talking to him, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. The song this week has been provided by Flat Moon. It's a beautiful song and it's called Hold It There. Hope you enjoy it. Stay safe, Leeds.
I'm floating dry.